Revolutions are happening all around us. But the church, we are some way. I don't know why we don't understand that it's a call for us to have a revolution as well. And maybe you don't understand really what a revolution is, but radical social change. I need you to write that, radical social change. And some people call it a revolution. It's a sudden, tumultuous, radical transformation of an entire system of government. Did you hear me? It's a radical transformation of an entire system of government. She's not asking that everything be perfect, but she is asking for a progression. So here it is that 2020 was one of the fiercest, most spiritual, physical battles of our entire lives. The pressure, the torment was immense. But 2020 revealed the truth. It revealed the truth of where our faith really is. Y'all just stick with me. It reveals the truth of where we really stand. It tells the difference between the fake and the faux. If you don't know fake and faux, and and real, your faux is a nice way of saying it's pretty, but it's fake. So here it is. 2020 identifies the surface, people between the people that are rooted. Because there's no way you could have gone through all of the ordeals of 2020 and not identify where you really stand with God or where God really stands with you. 2020 revealed the truth, strength of the church. It told the truth of the physical church and the natural church. Are you getting this today? It revealed the truth of those who believe in the power of prayer and those who practice prayer. 2020 revealed the difference between the Christians and believers. 2020 told the truth. So here it is that it was a year of practice, but practice is painful. I need y'all to get this. Practice is painful. Why? Because you got to maneuver as if it's the real thing. You got to play like it's the real thing. You got to believe like it's the real thing. And you got to act like it's the real thing. So here it is that now it's the time for us to bring about a revolution. We see it in politics. We see it with gender. The church is the only thing that is remaining stagnant. And a revolution means an overthrow of an entire government. So if you don't know that we operate in kingdoms, we operate either in God's kingdom or Satan's kingdom. Kingdoms are governments. So when you have a revolution, you have a responsibility to overthrow, and I'm going to get to that, the government that is contradictory to the one that we should be living under. I'm talking about a revolution in the house. So here it is that Isaiah 43:19 says, "For I am about to do a new thing." This is a word that comes to the children of Israel who are in the middle of Babylon. They're right in the middle of difficulty. They're in captivity, and God gives them this word. He reminds them, and if you go up a couple of verses, he reminds them of all the great things he's done for their fathers. But sometimes when you're in trouble, you forget. You forget everything that God has done. You forget everything that God has promised. You forget what he put in you. You forget the call that he gave you. You forget the anointing on your life because you're uncomfortable and you're in trouble. Much like Stacey Abrams didn't feel good losing, but sometimes you've got to lose before you can win. Y'all don't want to believe that because it doesn't feel good. But sometimes you got to lose before you can win. So here it is that God is telling them, he says, I'm going to break the power off of your oppressors. He says, I'm going to remove their power. Now, before I do that, things will get worse before they get better. And that brings me to today. So I need y'all to understand this about today. People were shocked and putting all this stuff out on the news, and how could they? But see, I wasn't shocked because I realized just before a revolution, the enemy raises his head because his job is to incite fear into you, to keep you from moving forward in the things of God. Oh, y'all didn't hear me today. Ruth Ginsburg went through so much before she got to the Supreme Supreme Court. But when she got to the Supreme Court, everybody was praising and celebrating that she's a woman and she's there. But the journey to get there was a difficult one. But that's what happens just before breakthrough. That's what happens just before a revolution, a change, a move, a shift. The enemy he shows his ugly head. He adds pressure so that he can incite fear and worry into those who are about to experience victory. So here it is, as we were experiencing that today, and I'm looking at all the stuff that's going on and people jumping walls, and people are reminding them, well, wait a minute. When some other people were marching, they experienced all of these things. But I said to myself, we are not like them. So I'm not expecting them to treat me the way I deserve to be treated. See, I belong to another kingdom. I belong to another government. And I realize when I operate under the favor and the power of my government, which is my God, they don't like it. So here it is that they can do things that other people cannot do. And I don't want this to be a race thing, because this ain't a race thing. This is a spiritual thing. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. See, everything that happened today was about shifting your mind to take your mind off of what's really happening. It served as a distraction. As long as you kept your eyes on the problem, you can't see the promise. I need y'all to get with me today. See, you ain't got to be perfect. You just have to remember that you're promised. So here it is that God told them that he was going to break the power of their oppressors. He says, I'm going to make a way, catch this, for the enlargement of my people. He says this has to happen because my people really won't recognize what's in them until they're in a place that they can't be themselves. It forces them to seek my face, because that's what happened to them when they were in Babylon. See, this is why y'all got to read your word. See, sometimes trouble comes to get the best out of you. See, even the trouble, the naysayers, evil, they are under God's control as well. Maybe you've forgotten that, but nothing in the earth happens without his hand or his permission. Everything has a purpose because he's in control of all. Even those climbing the fence and breaking windows didn't know that he was using their foolery as well to just prove who he is, because the one thing they didn't want to happen happened in Georgia anyway. See, it doesn't matter what you do. If that wasn't a sign to you, I thought y'all would get excited that while the enemy is cutting the fool, while he's acting the monkey, God is still giving you victory. You don't have time to be focused on all of that stuff that's going on. You need to watch what's going on with your promise. So here it is that he reminds them of the great things that he did for their father, and he brought them out of Egypt. He says, have you forgotten so easily? He says, I know that this is uncomfortable and you don't like this, and people are in an uproar and they're picking sides. He says, but I need you to remember the real thing, the real focus. He says, because I'm getting ready to do a new thing. He says, do you not see it? So what he's saying to them, compared to the things of old, he says, I'm getting ready to do something new on the scene. And because of that, you need to be focused on what I am doing. Are you getting this? So here it is that we're on the brink of a revolution right now. It wasn't just by happenstance that everything that happened today happened, but because 2020 we lost some things. Some people lost some things, isn't that right? Some people lost some things, but we also gained some things. We discovered some things. We discovered the new thing. Some people discovered the next thing, and some people discovered the necessary thing. But all of this happened in a difficult place. See, we don't like to choose difficulty, but sometimes difficulty brings the best out of us. Sometimes that's where we discover the latter parts, the deeper parts of who we are. So here it is, a revolution is a sudden, radical, complete change. It's a radical change. It's an overthrow or renunciation of one government. If you don't know what renunciation is, I love coming to America and I hear a new one coming out. But the old one, I absolutely love when Akeem said to Lisa, I renounce my throne. He says, if you want me to, I will renounce my throne. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go see Coming to America. But he said, I renounce my throne. So I started thinking in a revolution as the church, we have to renounce the government, anything that doesn't look like God. And this is what he was telling the children of Israel. He says, you have got to overthrow. That means you can't be nice about it. Everything that doesn't resemble the power of God, anything that doesn't resemble the presence of God, anything that doesn't resemble the promise of God, you have got to renounce it. And he says you got to overthrow it. That means I ain't going to be nice about it. He said the violent, take it by force. Now wait a minute. I don't want you to confuse what you saw today with the revolution, because the revolution has order. It has structure. It has a beginning. It has an end. It has a purpose. It's not a personal agenda, and it's not about harming or hurting, but it's about God's perfect will. Are you getting this? So here it is that we're at a revolution. It is time to overthrow. I need you to look at some people and those online. It's time to overthrow. I've been in a holding pattern all year. I've been in a holding pattern for 2 years or 10 years. And it is time to overthrow. It is time to get rid of everything that doesn't resemble really where I belong. So here it is. We overthrow things that attack our faith. Things that cause us not to believe, that made us shaky. Y'all better tell the truth up in here, because there's some things that happened in 2020 that made us a little shaky, that made us a little uncertain about what was going to really happen. Even this thing today where they voted, they kept looking, Bishop kept putting the numbers up, and I was like, go away, I don't want to see the numbers, because when you see the enemy gaining on you, it'll cause you to lose your grip. Sometimes you got to close your eyes to victory. Sometimes you got to smell your way to victory. You can't even watch it because it's too close for your own comfort. So here it is. Let me calm down. Let me calm down. Things that have attacked our faith and made us shaky and unsure. Something like messing with those that you care about, or something that you prayed and you've been delivered from, and here it comes. That's what it looks like. He stifled our movement, things that have made us stagnant. That's what a revolution is for. That's what it's needed. Where we have played small, where we were thinking small, and where we've been living small, we need a revolution. We need a revolution in our lives. Some of you need them in your houses. Some of you need them with your children. Some of you need them with your money. Some of them need you. Some of you need them with your health. But you need a radical, tumultuous change. I want you to understand this today. I don't want you to ease into the blessing. When it's a revolution, you come all out and you recognize that this is my season to lead and to move forward. A revolution is a throwing away of the old, and it is embracing the new. Are you getting this? It is dramatic. Yeah, it is drama, y'all. It is extra. Revolutions are extra. Y'all thought the people were extra today about who they believe should belong in the house. How many of us are ready and willing to have a revolution about our faith? How many of us are willing to be extra about our God? See, we've been too quiet. The church needs a revolution because we've been sitting on the sideline too long, waiting for somebody's permission to praise our God. So here it is that we declare that things will never be as they were. I need y'all to understand what I'm saying. Things will never be as they were. I know for a whole year we have been in this place. We've adapted, we've changed, and things will never go back to the way they were. But there are some people who are going to try to push you back to the person you were before 2020. See, 2020 is not just about the pandemic and staying home, it's about a shift in your thinking. You discovered some things about yourself that you didn't know when your back was against the wall. I thought I would be talking to some people today, but there'll be some people that will try to remind you of who you were. Are y'all getting this today? So here it is. Can I release this prophetic word on you quickly? I believe that a new era is ahead of us, that we, the church, along with the love of the Father and the power of the Holy Ghost, is about to cause a seismic shift. I need you to get this. A seismic or systemic, a global shift because of our faith. We're going to come out with a different mind and a different presence and a different presentation about who God is because of our ability to endure. You got to say this: I will not settle for second. If we're going to shift our families, if we're going to shift, we must cooperate with God. But this is the thing I need you to get, and maybe you get excited about this. The thing about today and winning, the thing about November and winning, the thing about Ginsburg and winning is momentum. And so right now we're all excited because we got control politically, but do we have control spiritually? See, it's not just about politics, because if the prayers of the righteous don't avail much, we're going to be dealing with the same demons that we've been dealing with the whole time. See, politics has its place, don't get me wrong, but spirituality has its place also. So the believers, we have momentum on our side, and I'll tell you what that looks like. Isaiah 40, 4 through 5 in NIV version. Can I read the text? It says, every valley shall be raised up, every mountain and hill made low. The rough ground shall become level, the rugged places a plain, and the glory of the Lord will be revealed, and all the people will see it together. Why? For the mouth of the Lord has spoken it. The doors are open. What does that mean? He says the doors are open. The playing field is balanced for everybody. For some of you, you felt like you could not get ahead because of your education. Some thought you couldn't get ahead because of your money. Some thought it was based on your status. But I came to tell you today that the playing field is even. The doors are open. You don't believe this? Revelation 3 and 8 says, see, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. This is the season for you to attain. This is the season for you to go after. This is not the season to sit back. Why? Because you have been chosen for a revolution. You are the person that's going to cause a seismic shift, a systemic shift in your house, in your finances. Why? Because the doors are open.